Every now and again, a book would come out that is so mind-bogglingly killing that you feel like your intestines are being repeatedly beaten by a 5-year-old with too much energy in his kicking feet. Usually, the pain resulting is the only experience of a sometimes mediocre, sometimes disgusting book who only has a thing to say about itself when it's being, well, disgusting. But sometimes when the stars align properly and this comet falls into the middle of somebody's brain, all those repulsive feelings get mashed together into a bun, stuck in the oven, then presented to you as a new postmodernism. And that's where the pain starts getting useful, as good prose, good characters, and good ideas make for a good book. However, if I learned anything about Japanese authors, is that if they write something that breaks through all the way to this corner of the world, then it's going to be something that's actually strong enough to be worth translating. To get publishers even more frustrated, this is a book where great prose, great characters, and great chilling to downright psychotic ideas come together for a cup of tea and end up plotting world domination. Guess? Check the title, boy. Battle Royale, the Hunger Games before the Hunger Games, with all the depth the latter is lacking and all the brutality no teen angst movie could possibly conceal in order to get a PG-13 rating. A class of ninth graders is thrown in on an island, with explosive collars round their necks and random weapons in their bags. Task: kill each other until only one remains to leave the arena. Haha, you might say, somebody stole the idea from the Hunger. Shut up before you embarrass yourself. While the idea of kids killing each other in a show meant to keep the population terrified and silent is shared by both dystopias, Battle Royale takes it to the level where I gave up on it around the middle. Yes, me, the kid who watched the Red Wedding, all of Game of Thrones, and half an episode of Dexter without cringing. The reason is simple. I read the manga. Don't read the manga! Or read it, but wait until the end of this video. When you're reading for hours and you're frenzied to get through all the violence and all the brilliant storytelling and all the characters dying but being so amazing at the same time because it's just so good, and all you're bombarded with page after page after page are brains spilling out of skulls and crushed eyeballs and intestines and blood and gore, it might start feeling just a little bit wrong after a while. And that's good. That's brilliant. It means your brain is still yours. You accept murder and violence and things that are wrong the moment you start getting used to all this. The war is the same, genocide is the same, the Holocaust was the same. But back to the plot. After a one-night break in which my tortured head kept on wondering how was that bloody badass but freaky maniac that I hated but that I love to hate at the same time of Kiriyama going to die, I decided to go back. And all the resulting pain aside, I got all I had needed and a lot more that I didn't ask for, but in the end it all finished with me shocked and revolted and feeling like throwing up, but nonetheless watching blankly a wall and whispering to myself, that was brilliant! You can say anything you want about Battle Royale, from being too brutal to being Japanese, but it is by far one of the best books of this world. You could of course ramble on and on about the power of each scene, about the brilliant build-up, about the strategic settings and lost words, about motivations and betrayals and kids being thrown into a very Lord of the Flies setting, only far more extreme. All that will be for nothing, however, as the strength of Battle Royale lies in its characters, all of them strategically different and all of them frighteningly familiar. From characters you empathize with, to absolute assholes you can't wait to see die faster, to the sweet boy that only wants to go back home, to the religious fanatic, to the gang leader, to the guitar player, all of them resemble people we meet in our schools, people we are either friends with or hypothetical arch enemies of. The possibility of being thrown in an arena to kill people you have known for years, with the good and the bad, with them being assholes or them being cutie pies. The perspective of having to kill and wipe away the life from faces that, like it or not, are a part of you and of who you are now, that just messed me up in a way Hunger Games couldn't even hope for. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the badass with the tragic past of them all? Well, Suzanne Collins may have made Katniss the noble archer who loses the spoiler, but Shuya with his optimism and Shogo with a past that still gets me thinking at night, and the awesome Mimura that you won't be able to get enough of, they have complexity. In their diversity, all the 42 teens represent the world and what the mass of flesh and bone and overdrive hormones and overdrive egos can turn us into. The entire book is an analysis of our chemical reactions to panic and loss of time and death and circumstances, but most importantly, the past. It is a book half flashback, and it's worthy attempt to give you the insight you need to judge each character appropriately, not just limit yourself to, that one's a bitch, that one's an asshole. You'll be given access into the heart of each bitch and asshole, and you'll be thunderstruck as you realize they're not the assholes. Somebody else was, and they were turned into twisted versions of their own selves in a failed attempt at protecting themselves. The book, and especially the manga, excel at backstories, and it was my great privilege to untangle the brilliant prose that brought the story to a level that is yet to be achieved by another book. Saddle up as you're in for a ride with plot twists as tight as U-turns in a chase, and don't be scared if you realize you can remember each and every single character by name even 6 months after you finish reading this masterpiece. You will not find this book sweet or easy in any way, I can guarantee you that, but I can also guarantee that it will be the only book in the world to make you hate it so much you adore it. You'll read it and stare at it and start piling up on gasoline to set it on fire, but you will still shout and tremble in anxiety and know that all the psychological pain you just went through was all for a story you hope will stay just between the pages. Laters!